419 with Gretchen DeBacker, Matt Killam, and Kevin Mullen.
Welcome into the 419, powered by WGTE and presented by Wetro Wealth Management. I'm Kevin Mullen.
Gretchen DeBacker.
Matt Killam.
It is Wellness Wednesday, presented by WorkSpring. We're going to have our friend Megan Kasiri join us on the program. And we're also
the star, yeah. That's right.
We're not messing around today. There's a lot of wellness going to happen this Wednesday.
That's right. We're going to well it up.
I don't think that's how it's done.
That's right. We can cut that.
Okay. All right. But we're also continuing our preview into Restaurant Week, which kicks off on Monday. Mm-hmm. So we will have Erin from Erin Ann's.
Yep.
And then we're also going to have Rich Jambor from Maddie and Bella.
And Rich has already arrived and has already brought us the elixir of the gods, which we're partaking in.
That is, that's an unfair advantage for him to have as a business owner.
Yeah, and all Megan's to come on is talk about belonging and health.
Well, she'd have an easier time if she brought coffee everywhere she went.
Well, there you go. All right.
Way to lead into our guests.
But also the angel, Danielle Johnson from Leadership Toledo, is here to make sure her guests arrived and showed up. So we thank her for being here as well.
She's
behind the scenes.
She's the real enforcer of Leadership Toledo.
It's just the kind of force we need.
Anna might be the mayor of Restaurant Week, but we know who the city administrator is.
That's right.
Mayor McCheese.
That's right. That's right. Gretchen, you were saying you have started a home renovation project?
Yes. I've been working on moving some rooms around. I actually bought a new rug for my bedroom.
Talk about interesting leading.
6 weeks ago.
You could not have taken this to a least exciting place.
I don't know
why anyone would be interested in it.
You've started a home renovation. Yeah, I bought a new rug.
Yeah,
no,
6 months ago.
Do you know what renovation means?
I had to hire people to come to my house over the weekend to put the rug under the bed, which has been half under the bed for 6 weeks. But also, I'm getting my bathroom done. I'm getting my second bedroom done. So I'm very excited.
You have to get started. You were working on your basement, though.
Yes.
And you bought that as a cat sanctuary?
It was originally a cat graveyard, I think.
Yeah.
It needed some work, let's just say that.
Yeah.
But it's no longer.
What happens in your brain that I teed you up for renovation and you've got
Listen, I'm an honest
a
broker.
basement renovation happening, a bathroom renovation happening,
correct,
a bedroom renovation happening, and you decide to lead with the rug.
Yeah. That was the thing that happened in time.
You're more about chronological than actually on topic.
Yeah.
Correct.
Got it.
And it's a really nice rug.
That's right. It's the one that smells the least like cats.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. So I'm excited. I will invite you over after.
We tried for like a year. We tried to get contractors to come over and quote on redoing our kitchen.
The contracting thing is the most frustrating.
It's just they're so busy, right? And so it's like we'd have if I could get the time for someone to come and give us a quote.
Yeah.
They never had the time to write the quote.
Yeah.
Or it was just their way of saying I'm not going to work with this guy because he's a disaster.
Correct.
So we ended up just doing it ourselves and legitimately down to the studs.
Yeah. That's when I came over.
See, I never get to that conclusion. If they don't come over or the contractor can't do it, then it's just not going to happen. I never think.
I would just move.
Let me just figure out
Yeah.
Burn it to the ground.
If there's enough light bulbs out in my house, I consider putting a sign in the front yard.
This is what YouTube is for. You just YouTube how to renovate kitchen.
No. And I was thinking about your new towel story all weekend also, and I find it to be particularly insane. I still think
between thinking about my towels and you getting a new rug.
Yeah.
We can't get Megan in here fast enough to get this over with.
Exciting stuff.
We need to start
This is called banter.
Goodness gracious. All right, when we come back,
help us.
We need some wellness. And Megan Kasiri from WorkSpring
the right lady
for us. It's a Wellness Wednesday here on the 419. We'll be right back.
Support for the 419 comes from Wetro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at wetroadvisors.com.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and veteran journalist Jerry Anderson. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419. It's a Wellness Wednesday edition presented by WorkSpring. And of course, we're joined by the mayor of WorkSpring.
That's right.
Megan Kassiri. Megan,
hi.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the 27 things you like about Toledo list.
I'd love to do that.
Was that we talk about like wellness,
Yes.
and then we throw Gretchen's wacky quiz at you. Did that delete all the wellness that we had built up?
No, it was
throughout?
all good. It was the 9 words that was my favorite.
What would your suggestion be?
In my favorite, you mean not that.
That actually,
We talk about it. So what would the suggestion be that's something other than 9 words? What could we do for the 9?
Oh my
And Megan, are you
gosh.
pleased that we brought you on to have this conversation
Yes.
in real time?
This
Yes,
is
I was hoping for that.
I'm sorry, I thought we were having a production meeting. Is that
Yeah,
not?
that's right. What's a
We're-
production meeting?
We're actually going to switch. So it's still going to be I ask for rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
Gretchen asks for your favorite thing in or about Toledo. And then for Matt, you're going to give us 9 suggestions other than 9 words about Toledo.
9 general life
that's a good
suggestions.
way to
I will
do
tell
it.
you- That's right. 9 things to make everyone better. No, I actually am taking this a little personally because the thing that people find most objectionable about the show, or all the things,
Is
are
you.
all things that I do for or on
Was
the
this
show.
your idea? The 9
No,
words?
they thrust this upon me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Russ,
you were forced to do this.
Yes, that's right.
what else do people find objectionable about you?
Well,
I mean, I know the list. I just didn't know if you knew it.
Yeah, you wanted to reconcile the two.
All right, so Megan, we'll attempt to
sorry.
get
Sorry,
back on the
Yes.
back on the tracks.
Okay.
If this is the first time people are seeing you on the program, catch us up. What is WorkSpring?
So WorkSpring is an employers association, and we work with employers on their human resources. We provide HR solutions, employee training, and workplace wellness. We've got about 800 members throughout the entire state, and we're based in downtown Toledo. We just moved into the old Jefferson Center, and
I know
we've been
you
around.
said that before,
yeah.
but I'm obviously familiar with the institution for some time. But 800 members across the state is incredible.
Yes.
that is quite a feat.
We are very lucky because I mean our members. We've been around for 75 years.
Yeah. So's Gretchen.
Gretchen, and your birthday was just the other
It
day.
was, yes.
Why are you
that-
glaring at me like that? I sent her edible arrangement, which means that you love someone.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Healthy. That's a healthy choice.
It is not the one I chose for her.
Yeah.
But
So, I mean, the around the state is the piece that I didn't know,
Oh,
right?
okay,
I mean, like
yeah.
I knew you had members in Northwest Ohio.
We
I knew
do.
you, but I did not realize this is truly a statewide organization.
It really is. We have members in Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland, and all points around. And mostly those folks are because of our wellness program. So we provide workplace wellness. We do wellness for Medical Mutual of Ohio. And we go, our team is based where our members are. So we are all around.
I will tell you that they're certainly not apples to apples comparison, but I work for a park system during the day, and we represent a county. And there's a vast there's a difference between people that live across the county. So spread across the state, there's quite a bit of difference in needs, but there's a lot of similarities too. And one of them is belonging, right?
Yes.
A workplace culture and belonging is critical, not just for making yourself as a distinction of an employer, but making for healthy employees.
Oh,
Can
absolutely.
you talk a little bit? I know people say belonging now quite a bit, and things like that can become trite very fast, but it is an important aspect of functionality in health. Can you give us sort of the background of belonging or your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, it's really important, and you're right. It can kind of it's kind of a fluffy term. What does it mean? But really, it's very, very important to workplace culture and whether or not your team stays in place. We focus a lot on workplace wellness and belonging. And you know what we're really excited about we're doing right now, because we do have members across the state. Typically, you would have to come to Toledo and take one of our classes. And so what we heard was we want to be members and we enjoy membership, but we can't take advantage of that. So in just a few weeks, we're launching our first live virtual classes.
Cool.
Nice.
And all of our roundtables are going to be broadcast live, kind of taking a page from the Rotary so that folks can engage wherever they are. And that's really important to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
And so when you have technology, we'd like to take advantage of that. So it is very important to be able to be accessible no matter where we're based,
Yes.
but where our members are based.
When you think about belonging, and again, I appreciate how you articulated that, just because something is emotive or fluffy doesn't make it not important.
No.
My mother, who is terrifying, said just because Homer Simpson said it doesn't make it not true. So things like this can be, again, made very trivial or poster material, but there's a core that is critical. So, but what does belonging mean?
So I think it just means being a part of something, being seen. That's another kind of phrase that's used a lot, being seen.
Yeah.
But it can be something as very, very simple as your one-on-ones when you're meeting with your boss. And if you're in the position of being a supervisor, not just asking questions about how's it going or what's on your schedule for today. It's more like, what's going well, or what are you stuck on, or what can I help you with?
Yeah.
Questions that are beyond that surface.
Yeah.
You start to build a rapport, and then you build that trust. And when issues arise, you're more likely you're going to hear about it.
Yeah.
Which is important, because if you
Absolutely.
don't have that open communication in your team, things will not really, they're not going to gel, and things probably get buried that need to be surfaced.
Yeah, there is always a testament to practice what you preach, right? So the institutions that can be very busy promoting a mission sometimes have trouble bringing the mission back into their own offices, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
So how does WorkSpring, and you as a leader, what is the check-in to say, am I prescribing belonging within our own offices? You've
Yeah.
had quite a bit of transition, which is thrilling for someone who has worked with the institution for a long time and knows you personally, not to overdo this, but what a fan of you I am. What is the check-in for you and making sure that belonging and culture is something that you also are embodying?
Well, when we had the opportunity to move downtown into this new space, we had originally thought we were going to just do cubicles and kind of the typical office. We were moving from a location in Maumee where everybody had offices, and it's very easy to just close doors and not get up and talk to one another. But we had this fantastic opportunity to be at the Jefferson Center at the Innovation Post, and we intentionally designed it so that we could kind of meet people where they are.
Yeah.
So everybody, because we have remote employees and permanent employees in our office, we created a spot where everybody has a desk. Everybody has the ability to just kind of plug and play with their laptops. Everybody has the same equipment. Before, they didn't have that. So
Interesting.
if you were going to come in from Columbus into Toledo,
Best drive ever. Best drive ever.
best drive ever, and then you would go into an office that didn't really have a setup for you and didn't feel like you belonged in the office. So now, literally, everybody knows that they can go wherever they want and work wherever they want within the office. We created a den that's set up kind of like a living room.
Oh,
so
fun.
let's say you have kids and kids have a snow day or whatever. Bring them in, put them in there. Simon comes in, he watches The Simpsons sometimes. And we also have a hotel space where it's like
How old
3
is Simon?
computers. Simon is 10.
You're kidding me.
He's 10.
Fourth
and Hazel
grade.
she is in
Yeah.
4th grade. Hazel is now 7.
Good Lord.
They're wonderful.
Yeah.
They're great. But so anyway, we created this space, and then the other thing we do is we bring everybody together monthly. So everybody has to come in, and we do
I love this.
We do a half a day of professional development or staff development, and Dr. Michael Brown is helping us with that this year.
Yeah.
So we're working on culture. And then in the afternoon, we'll break out in teams or departments or whatever and do the work that we need to do in person. And it's just bringing people together.
What are signs or symptoms, if you're looking at your own company or where you work, that people are not connected either to each other or to the work?
Good question.
Yeah. I think when folks stop, when they're not talking, or when you start to hear workarounds, they're not adapting to policies or technology. You start to hear kind of, people kind of turn into grumpy Gus's a little bit.
Yeah, we're easy with the language.
I know.
WGTE, you gotta keep it clean.
Yeah, good
I'm
Lord.
so
yeah,
sorry about that.
really going to be your potty mouth in here.
So I think that you can just tell when folks are not asking questions. You go
They're not engaged.
They're not engaged.
Yeah.
They just, it's the worst when you go into a meeting and you're having a conversation about something and they just look at you.
Yeah.
So, so you got to kind of change the dynamic. Does that mean they participate? You have a round robin, everybody's got to talk about it. You give them a heads up on what you're going to be talking about so they can be more engaged. It's really about communication and transparency. That's another thing that we at WorkSpring are doing this year. We have an action plan that is it's just a couple of pages long, but everybody knows what it is, and then we're gonna like talk about it every time we're together. And everybody has their own part of it. And because we are a hybrid team and our members are all over the place, we want to make sure that everybody is on the same page.
There's a balancing act here, though. When you talk about like some of the, like we talk about what belonging looks like in your office, right? Mm-hmm. And having the flexibility to come and you've got a space that's yours. To do that, you sort of have to, you're essentially taking away what some of the in-place, in-person, regular employees have had, if we're creating that flexibility. Having a workspace where you can bring your kids or where you can bring your dog, right? There's pros and cons to all of this, and not everybody works as well in the same environment.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing at WorkSpring? What do you recommend to other employers to really keep a thumb on, is this working?
Mm-hmm. So before we set up our new office, we did like an internal poll, and we gave them a lot of questions about what they liked and what they didn't. What kind of working environment worked well? Are they comfortable in an open environment? What was natural light important? And again, not every employer even has the opportunity that we have, right?
Sure.
We have a lot of manufacturers who are our members, and they don't necessarily get to have those choices that we have. So you can do other things, but what we did internally was we set up a discussion point, and then we looked at that data, we shared that data with our team and with our board, and we did our best to try to achieve the top ones. Now, not everybody likes working in an open environment, and it's hard. There's a change.
I wish we could cubicle this desk.
That would be a tiny cubicle. You could do a little.
That's just some separate.
Matt's looking for the separation.
Yeah, I get it. But when we first got in, I said we have to give this at least 30 days. You got to get in. It's like moving into a new house. You don't know where everything's going to go,
That's right.
and where it is right now may not be where it ends up. So just give it a chance. Just let it run. So we did that. We've still had to make some adjustments.
Sure.
And we made sure we kept our hybrid environment. So we have an office optional schedule where folks want to come in, they can a couple days a week, or they can work from home or remote. And we made sure that their remote station also is set up. Because we have a team who they work in their homes, we wanted to make sure that they have the equipment. And that's very important.
Yes.
That as an employer, if you're expecting your team to perform at a level, you got to give them the things that they need to perform. And we also utilize, we're in a Teams environment, so we use that, and we're connected through like Teams chat and SharePoint, and just trying to do those different types of things.
So let's go ahead.
From an employee's perspective, I asked the question about how you can tell if you're not connected or don't belong as an employer, and looking at your employees. But what is something an employee would feel that says to them, maybe I need to figure this out, or maybe I don't like working here, maybe I need to get more engaged, maybe I'm not taking advantage? What can they do to sort of assess what they're feeling about their job and their workplace?
I would say take a look at Sunday scaries.
Yeah.
How are you feeling the night before you have to go in? How do you feel when you first walk in the door? Do you feel like this is a good environment, and are you at your best here? Or do you have opportunities? But also, I am a person who believes in positive thinking. And if you come into work, it's really nice.
It's really nice. God, you're the best. Yeah, that is an absolutely earnest reaction. It's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah. I would literally buy anything from you. Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with the dawn of the apocalypse, but no.
It's nice. It's nice. There are some positives.
It's going to be warm.
It's going to be brief. But
yeah.
I had heard a study years ago that, and it was a
Are
workplace.
you trying to filibuster the last minute here?
No.
Okay.
Workplace wanting to improve workplace culture, wanting people to be happier. And they found that when a boss just asks,
Yes.
are you having a good day?
Yeah.
Just merely introducing the idea of today was a good day made everybody leave feeling like they had a better day.
It is so funny because I think a great deal of my boss and like him. If my boss asked me if I was having a good day, I would assume that he has a cancer diagnosis or something. You know what I mean? In that we have a good relationship. Or I was quitting and didn't know it. But I have, we don't have a lot of time left in this segment, so this might be an unfair question. But speaking of the dawn of the apocalypse, AI, and not to put you on the spot because it's a giant question with a few minutes remaining, but there is a personal and professional part of all successful careers in office spaces, right? They're human beings that interact with things. AI, what is that? How is WorkSpring thinking about this or educating people?
We think about AI literally every single day. This is such a huge thing.
Is that what the robot told you to say?
Yes.
Blink if you're in trouble.
Yeah. I think it's an incredible tool that we need to embrace.
Yeah.
Because it's here.
Yep.
And but I don't think that human beings are going away because, you know, it's a help.
Yeah.
And I actually think that WorkSpring is going to spend some significant time working on AI and how we can work on it for our members, how we could help our members use it and talk about it. And there are definitely challenges, and people are not necessarily comfortable yet.
Right.
But part of what we do is we do training, and so we're going to
That's
talk
right.
about it
and talk
get it
about
out there.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yep.
get it
That's
out there.
really well articulated. I know that seems like a simple hack, but it isn't. We're going to talk about it. Is the way to handle most things, but certainly that's right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Megan Kassiri, President and CEO of WorkSpring. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
And for supporting this program, an opportunity for us to check in once a week and update our own wellness and look at what wellness looks like in the workplace as well. Every Wednesday, it's Wellness Wednesday here on the 419, presented by WorkSpring. When we come back, we dive into Restaurant Week. A little preview of Restaurant Week, which kicks off on Monday. We'll be right back on the 419.
To me, community means connecting to others.
I'm Donnie Miller, and welcome to The Point.
I love CBS Kids!
We're a community committed to education. Discover new ideas, dive into exciting subjects, and engage with the world around you.
I would send them personally a t-shirt. Crime doesn't pay in the old West End, pass it on. That's how we cleaned up the neighborhood.
Vision loss for people is not the end.
It's a story, it's the next chapter.
WGTE Public Media invites you to Get Out and Play Day.
Monday through Friday, it's the 419 powered by WGTE. With Matt Killam, Gretchen DeBacker, I'm Kevin Mullen. What can people expect on the show?
It's going to be an hour, a reminder of why this is a great place to live, work, and play.
WGTE, where you come to watch, listen, and learn.
Welcome back into the 419, a Wellness Wednesday and a preview of Restaurant Week, which kicks off on Monday, supporting Leadership Toledo. We're joined now by the owner of Maddie and Bella Coffee and Roasters. I think I got that right.
Close enough.
All right, perfect. That's actually the theme of the show.
I own Starbucks.
I figured. Yeah.
Rich Jambor. Rich, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We talked about it kind of early on. You kind of cheated today, that you brought coffee and sweets. Do you find that's the way to get into every room?
Yeah, typically.
Okay.
I mean, right.
Works every time.
Yeah, the way to your heart, right through the mouth.
So tell us what we're sampling, and we have Megan Kassiri stayed with us because she wants to sample as well.
I'm glad because I, per usual, brought way too much.
Yes.
And I'm not taking anything back. So this is our coffee cake. We make all our baked goods from scratch.
You're
in-house.
kidding me.
I'm not. Yeah, everything is made from scratch here.
How about that?
All our syrups and everything and all that stuff. So yeah, this is our coffee cake. Obviously brought some of our house blend. This is Uptown Blend from the Perrysburg shop.
Okay.
The house blends are actually different shop to shop.
So good. It's the perfect amount. I mean, balance between the cinnamon streusel stuff and the cake. It's very
and
good.
Gretchen obviously has no taste, so that probably doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah, I don't know if it fits the wellness theme per se.
But we don't care about that in the slightest.
It makes us happy.
Mental wellness, maybe not physical.
When you're opening up the shop, what is the linchpin for opening up a successful coffee shop? What is the critical decision to base your brand off of?
Man, that's a deep question right off the bat.
Is it pronounced Jambor or Jambor?
You know, it actually used to be Jambor with a Y back in the day, but it is Jambor. So you got it right, yeah. But no, I mean, like anything, it's just have good product. You know, it's quality. You know, I mean, people will come for quality products, whether it's coffee or coffee cake or.
And did you start as a roaster before?
Yeah, we were just, so in 2012, we just started roasting. We wholesaled to other coffee shops, grocery stores, local markets, farmers market. You know, we started at the Perrysburg Farmers Market,
I didn't know
just
that.
like everybody. Yeah.
Where did this idea come from? Why did you get into this business?
It was actually a hobby of my dad's, just coffee roasting. He just roasted, had a little tiny quarter pound at a time.
What did your dad do?
He was in the automotive industry for years. I mean, he was
roasting coffee was a side.
It just became, he kind of tasted some at work that some other guy did, and he was like, oh, I bet I could roast coffee.
Interesting.
And we started doing it, and then friends and family just started demanding more and more. So
sounds like friends and family.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Were your dad and you always close?
Yeah, I mean, it for sure, sure. And I don't even, I don't get into the roasting side of things as much. I mean, I can handle it and I can do it if need be, but like that's kind of his. He still does it. He still roasts all the coffee for everything. Yeah.
So you're in the retail space, like in grocery stores and stuff, with the beans.
Yeah, at that time, and then we had no plans to open up coffee shops or retail spaces. It was just kind of like,
that was exactly our plans for this show.
Yeah, let's just do this. And all of a sudden, 2 spots became, they both were previous coffee shops.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys remember Downtown Latte back in the day. And so they were looking to move on, and it was clearly an awesome space. I'm a little biased. I think it's the best block of downtown Toledo.
It is a nice
sure.
And so we had big shoes to fill because they kind of kick-started that block revitalization and everything way back in the day. And so we were like, well, if we're either going to open 0 shops or let's just open 2 at the same time,
That's
basically.
Right.
If we're
that
gonna
should
do
be
it,
easy.
That's right.
Let's have twins.
Yeah, exactly. If my wife was pregnant at the time, we're like, we got nothing going on. Let's just open 2 coffee shops. Yeah.
Man.
And so here we are.
Let's back up. You're from the area.
I am.
Right? Talk to me about kind of where you grew up and.
Yep, I grew up here. We bounced around a little when I was young, but then ever since junior high, I went to Perrysburg. So I grew up here, hanging out in Toledo and coming downtown, and I always loved it. And so it was a natural fit to move our shop down there, and then we have one downtown Perrysburg as well.
What is the thing that people don't realize that small business owners, have to deal with on a daily basis?
Is it dumb questions?
It's different every day. The fact that people are like, oh, what's your day like?
Who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah. That's also the best part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I joke because I'm like, if I'm in the shop later in the day, something's probably broken.
Yeah.
So do you bake stuff on site, or do you do the coffee roasting and baking someplace and deliver them to the 2 retail locations?
So I personally do neither, but we bake everything in the shop and all that. So we have, after we close, we have our baking team that comes in at night. My mom makes a lot of the scones from scratch.
Scones are delicious, the cinnamon chip scones.
Yeah.
Come on, they're
absolutely. Our other head baker, Sarah, has been with us since she was employee number 1 that we hired, and she's been with us ever since. And she makes the bread and the muffins. And
We were talking with Megan about from WorkSpring about culture and belonging. You've got 2 different workplaces. Is it the same formula for both of kind of maintaining that culture, or how do you build that to have an employee that's been with you for 10 years in this kind of an industry?
It's rare. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
That's a great question.
Yeah, you can't. You try and you build the brand and you try and come up with the best work environment you possibly can. But it's eventually the employees that create the culture. And it's a coffee shop. It's a community facing business. People come to connect. People come to hang out. They know our team, and our regulars know the girls in the shop more than they know the brand necessarily.
But I've long said the similarities between KFC and Maddie and Bella from a business structure, from an employment structure, like they could be so similar. But you walk into Maddie and Bella, you walk into a Starbucks, or you walk into a KFC, and you have very different experiences.
Sure.
What is, when you're interviewing somebody, what's that thing you're looking for to say, this person's going to fit into this culture?
It has nothing to do with coffee, first off. I mean, our application and everything is like, hey, like, do you love coffee? Well, it's okay if you have coffee. We don't care if you have coffee experience or anything to it. So it just comes down to, you get a feel for them, you talk to them, and you're like, this person would fit. It's just people we want to hang out with,
Where does the name Maddie and Bella come from?
Good question.
So a lot of people think, because everybody in the shop are like, oh, are you Maddie? Are you Bella? Like, no. So Maddie and Bella were our family dogs. Okay. So when the coffee roasting was still like a hobby, I had a piece of art commissioned by a local artist of the dogs, and it just said Maddie and Bella Coffee Roaster, and just hung in the kitchen. There's a replica of it in our downtown shop. So if you walk in, look to the right.
Yeah.
They were Australian Shepherds, and it was just kind of a fun family thing.
Do they look like the Hemsworths?
The what?
The Hemsworths?
The brothers, like
Dreamboats.
Thor and
talk about
not
that.
particularly.
Okay, well, it's still okay then.
You have, in the downtown shop especially, you have sourced a lot of other local suppliers that you use to sort of round out the menu. You have a locally supplied retail space, and also the beverages and things with Bucci Mama and some juices and other things. Why is that important to you?
Patron Saint's root beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had it on
Maddie and Bella.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That was awesome. We need to bring that back.
Bucci Mama is locally owned and an exceptional woman that owns that company too.
Yeah, Stacey's great. It's easy. These people that have these local businesses and products, they make it really easy to bring them in. It's kind of no-brainer.
Can I put you on the spot here? If the Hemsworths had a local product, would you have it in this?
I would consider it.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, they are dreamboats. Your word.
So, speaking of them, that comes up a lot. We have.
It does. Thank you. Rich, can you be on every day?
We have a question on our application.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a good question. I'd like to ask
Okay.
get all of your guys'
Rich.
input.
It's our show.
Yeah. I have some thoughts on the 1 and the 9 thing too that I heard you talking
Appreciate
about.
it.
Are we applying for a job at Maddie and Bella right now?
If you were,
Yeah,
and you were
let's
to
do it.
fill out
Let's
our
do it.
application,
Let's do it.
one of the questions says, what is your favorite coffee moment from TV or movies?
Interesting.
I'm glad it is timely that you brought this up, because I was just lamenting to Gretchen that she was on the show. And on top of that, I was made aware of the fact that most coffee in particular scenes in TV shows or movies are pantomime. There's not actually coffee or liquid in it. And now I can't get that out of my head. I'm watching it. It looks
There
fake.
is in these. Like, I'm not just
These are
faking
real.
it right
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
So that I've now become very critical of people's acting in that way, which is not something that I am critical of anything, but for sure. So my favorite coffee moment. Do you guys have an answer while I think about this?
For me, I naturally go to Central Perk and Friends, and like so many different moments of really like, if I think about like the singular moment, it's Rachel screwing up somebody's order.
Yeah. If this were Family Feud,
Oh
that
my
would
God.
probably
It'd
be
be
the
number
number
one.
2.
Yeah.
I think
number
Frasier
2.
would be number 1.
I've
You
got
are
one.
incorrect.
Which would
I mean,
it
I have
be?
the data. I have 10 years worth
What
of
is
data.
it? What is it?
Yeah.
It's Gilmore Girls is number 1,
that's
which I
right.
never actually have seen. But then
Because she worked
Friends
in a
is pretty
bakery
much
coffee
right
place.
after that.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction is a big one.
See, I think
hate
that's
Pulp Fiction.
demographic, right? I think that's as you
Yeah.
think about the demographics of who's working,
Of who's applying to coffee
Yeah,
shops.
that's why
100%.
Gilmore Girls number 1. If we were applying,
I've got an obscure one that is my favorite.
boy.
It is from
Is
the
it Die
West.
Hard?
It's from the West. No, and it doesn't have anything to do with Thor, but God, I wish it did. It is a West Wing episode where Josh, who is the deputy chief of staff, has had an all-nighter, which is a rarity. And he comes back in, and Donna, his beloved assistant, happens upon him passed out on the floor, and she gives him coffee, and he puts it in his mouth, and he's hungover. The coffee just runs out of his mouth. And she said, "Jesus, Josh." He said, "When is that coffee from?" She was like, "I don't know, a couple days ago." But all of
That's
that
good.
physical reaction is perfect for handling beverages that are just not, and also being that. So
Right.
that's my West.
Well, the
that's
Thor one is like he pounds a cup of coffee and then like smashes the mug on the ground and says, "I'll have another." Right?
Now you frown on that in the stores, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the Perrysburg shore. But it's okay.
Yeah, downtown is fine. It's expected downtown.
Yeah.
How much coffee do you drink on a daily basis?
I have about 1 cup every morning.
That's
Yeah.
it?
I mean, yeah, I do.
Even though it's free to you?
Yeah, I know. I don't know, but I get to lunchtime and then I'm like, I don't need any more
Yeah.
coffee.
I don't know if you've ever seen New Jack City, but you can't get high on your own supply. That's not a good business.
All right, so you guys are participating in Restaurant Week.
Yes.
We are.
What is happening at Maddie and Bella for Restaurant Week?
Restaurant Week is it's a fun week for us every year. You know, we love participating in it. We have a Restaurant Week menu here, actually. We kind of like to focus, honestly, we focus on the product and everything, sure, but we like to kind of have fun with the themes and come up with a different theme. This year we have a video game Mario theme, a little bit to it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, I don't want to. Should we do that? We got to roll through this quickly, but we can't get you off fast enough.
It's now time for Gretchen's Wacky Quiz.
So dumb.
All right, I'm going to ask.
We're going to ask you 4 questions. Then Gretchen's going to ask you one thing about the Toledo or the region that is your favorite. And then I'm going to walk you through 9 words to describe Toledo or the region. Here we go.
Question number 1, where will you be in 3 years?
Well, if you invite me back, I would come and be on the show again in 3 years.
Do you want maybe a second answer then?
That assumes we're going to be here.
That's a bold assumption that WGTE wants us here.
I'm not going to be here tomorrow.
I love it.
Have you ever performed on stage?
Yeah, I have.
Exciting answer.
Yeah. You know, probably. So
Ventriloquist?
I'm not the drama one but both my sisters were in all the plays and everything. And I think early on I was in choir and you know did some stuff.
My
it's
sisters
been
are
a while.
My sisters are high drama. Richard said it here first.
What's the cringiest thing you did as a teenager?
Oh man.
Remember, there's FCC regulations.
Yeah, I know. The cringiest thing. I mean, we did some stupid stuff. I'm very glad that, you know, cell phones and cameras and all that didn't exist.
We'll take that as an
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's your favorite dessert?
Ooh,
good one.
That is good. So, classic brownies are my favorite. Just a classic brownie, I think, is the best dessert
That
possible.
is an interesting answer.
Yeah.
All right.
It's hard to get a really good classic brownie.
Yeah.
Anyway, what is your number 1 most favorite or what you would consider to be the best thing about Toledo or the region?
I think the best thing about Toledo is honestly the size and accessibility of it. You know, it's a perfect size city that's like big enough to feel like a big city, but also small enough that like if I needed to go knock on the mayor's office and have a meeting, I probably could.
That's
or
right.
if I just throw my hazards on somewhere downtown, nobody's going to take my car.
That's true.
You know,
I've seen your
I can
car.
park wherever
You're
I
right.
want. You know, but it's that's my favorite thing. I think it's the perfect Goldilocks size of a city.
Okay.
All right. 9 words to describe the city and region. You already said access, so I'm going to take that.
Yeah, you can use that.
Starting
I think
off strong.
Toledo is vibrant.
Vibrant, love it.
Toledo is welcoming.
Welcoming, love it.
Toledo is resilient.
Resilient, good.
Diverse.
Diverse.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Affordable.
Affordable.
Ambitious.
Ambitious.
Industrious.
Industrious.
Oh, how many?
You've got 9, but do you have another one that goes strong?
No, but here's what I think you should do with this word thing.
Yes, I want to know.
I think you should the answer's sitting right in front of you. Just flip-flop them. I think you should have 1 word and then 9 things that you love to do in Toledo.
No, things you love to do.
You know.
I like that.
You know, whether it's restaurants or whether it's the metro parks or whether it's, you know.
What's the last thing you said? Metro Parks? Sounds delightful.
Rich, we might take you up on that idea and have to call it Rich's Wacky Quiz.
Rich, I can't wait to go to one of your coffee shops today and give you a bunch of notes based on my experience too.
I want to make sure we know what Gretchen's doing.
What?
She likes the idea, but more than that, she doesn't like that we call it Gretchen's Wacky Quiz.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
right.
Well, the quiz part is good. Yeah, that's still yours.
Restaurant Week kicks off on Monday. Stop by Maddie and Bella. Get fueled up in the mornings, in the afternoons. Downtown Perrysburg, downtown Toledo. People want more information on Maddie and Bella. Where can they find it?
MaddieandBella.com or Instagram, Facebook, all those things.
Or on the Hemsworth's IMDb page.
Yeah.
Rich Jambor, owner of Maddie and Bella, thank you so much. When we come back, we will be joined by Erin Stampflmeier. I'm going to try and get that right. We'll see what happens. From Erin Ann's. We'll be right back on the 419.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at witroadvisors.com.
Destination Toledo. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Destination Toledo invites you to explore the region and be a tourist in Toledo. Find events, dining, and things to do at visittoledo.org.
WorkSpring. HR issues and employee well-being go hand in hand. WorkSpring supports employers through compliance, training, and wellness because healthy workplaces don't happen by accidents. Learn more at workspring.org.
Toledo Refining Company, a subsidiary of PDF Energy. Toledo Refining Company is a supplier of fuels that keep our region moving. Located in Oregon, Ohio, the refinery processes crude oil into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products.
And TARTA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at tarta.com.
Welcome back into the 419, a Wellness Wednesday edition of the 419, and our preview of Restaurant Week, which starts on Monday. I'm beginning to realize why Gretchen wanted to do
We've
this
made a
preview.
grave mistake.
No.
In not doing this for the last 45 days.
Yeah.
So from now on, I think a restaurant a day.
Yeah.
We are joined now by Erin Stampflmeier from Erin Ann's, and you brought so much deliciousness that Gretchen didn't even wait for the segment to start.
Matt's eaten half of his already.
Yeah.
As well.
What is Erin Ann's?
So I'll give a little tiny preview. We really opened as an ice cream shop and cold pressed juice smoothie bowls. We are fully gluten-free, so we really focus on kind of reinventing the way you treat yourself is our tagline that we opened with. So we are located in downtown Sylvania on Main Street, and we really just strive to use real ingredients in all our food. Everything you have in front of you is house-made, right down to the ice cream. The bread itself on your panini is all house-made. So we do that so we can control the ingredients and what's going into the food. And our menu is a pretty simple menu, honestly. A lot of it's probably comfort food or things you can make at home. I always say, like, it's not rocket science, but it's the convenience. People are busy with kids running here and there and everywhere.
Well,
so
that's the only time we're going to disagree. Not one thing you brought today is something I could do at home.
Well,
right.
But this is.
If you took time to learn, I bet you could.
Well, that is a kind thing.
Or maybe not. Okay.
that is a kind thing.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's
right.
why we're here.
That's right.
I'm a mom with 4 kids. I needed convenience in my life, but I didn't want to sacrifice the quality of the food I was feeding my kids either. So,
Did you have a particular interest in or someone in your family that had a gluten sensitivity?
Multiple people. My mom is very sensitive to a lot of things. I was intolerant of dairy as a baby. My kids all were or are. It was really hard to take a small child to an ice cream shop and your only dairy-free option was neon blue.
Yeah.
So we just strived. I grew up in Sylvania. Our hearts are in Sylvania. We didn't have an ice cream shop since late 90s. So we already are small business owners in downtown Sylvania. So our heart was really in when that was the right timing.
What's the other business?
Sylvan Studio. It's trophies, awards, plaques, ribbons, custom engraving, all the things.
Sylvan Studio has been, we worked at the Botanical Garden. I was brought to help execute the Crosby Festival of the Arts. Sylvan Studio has been part of the mainframe of that being executed for ever.
Long time.
What a great institution.
So my aunt and uncle used to own it, and then my parents took over, and consequently my husband and I. So
with these foods,
that's that's a real staple too. I did not make that connection, but what a great institution.
We're right next door to Sylvan. So my husband quite literally runs back and forth in the back door all day long.
Huge shout out to Sylvan Studio. My wife had an award. Something changed on it.
Yeah.
They had to send it back to be adjusted.
Yeah.
She gave it to me, and she was like, "Hey, you're going to be in Sylvania.
Yeah.
Take this to Sylvan Studio." She gave it to me on Sunday to return on Monday.
You forgot.
Did not take it on Monday. Did not take it on Tuesday.
That's how life works.
Finally on Thursday, I return it, and I walk in, and they were like,
"Where the hell have you been?
What is this?" And I said, "So
Get out
this
of here."
is the award that I returned to you on Monday, and if anyone asks, this has been here since Monday."
That's right.
And the guy,
and by anyone,
the guy
I mean a
behind the
woman
counter
that looks like this.
Guy behind the counter goes, "I got you."
It was my husband. I guarantee it.
Well, he knew.
Like,
I know that we hear about Erin Ann's, so this will be the last thing to say about Sylvan Studios, but it is a wonderful place.
And thank you so much.
And thank everyone in your family.
They're both family businesses.
The ice creams and the bread and the salads and the soup, were you making this stuff at home and then transitioned it into a restaurant, or how did you get started?
Okay, so we decided we needed to open an ice cream shop in downtown Sylvania because we didn't have one, and we felt the community really needed it. So I learned how to make ice cream. I have a marketing degree. This was not my life plan necessarily, but here we are, and I wouldn't change it. So really, we just strove to, like, my kids were going to be there pretty much every day. We homeschool, so that was like, this is life. This is how we do it.
Which one of your kids is the best worker? Which one of your kids is the worst worker?
You know, it honestly, I have a 12-year-old boy. If you ask him to do something, he will do it. He can wipe tables, do the dishes, all those things. My 9-year-old is very much like the oldest girl, and she is going to tell you that this needs done. Yes.
Yeah,
so their personalities really start to shine through. Yeah, absolutely. But when they're there, if they need to help out, they will. Especially when we opened. We're in a pretty good spot right now. I have an incredible team that works with us and allows us to do what we do. So we've been open 3 years in November, so just over 3 years. So we're new, we're babies.
But I'll tell you what, that 3-year threshold, 3-year threshold,
but 3 to 5 of any business.
Exactly
truly,
right.
We're not new business owners, but not new business owners, but new to the restaurant industry.
Absolutely.
So this is just kind of born out of love. I mean, I scraped plaster off the brick walls in the building.
Right.
What are we eating?
Okay, yes, what are you eating? Let's hit this. So I really brought a sampling of our Restaurant Week menu, which is what we're here to talk about. The chicken panini. So we introduced paninis a few weeks ago to our menu. So this is a spin on our classic line of paninis. So you've got a chicken panini. It's got some sharp cheddar, Dijon mustard. It's got an green apple slaw in there.
If I can stop you just for a second, you can tell every layer of this is done real detail. The bread is delicious.
So we house make bread. You're eating gluten-free bread right now. I don't know if you realize that or not. I don't know if you guys have dietary restrictions, but that is really like, it's come a long way. Like this used to be like,
delicious.
Oh gosh.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever thought about opening a contrarian restaurant that was only gluten?
Sure.
Like 100% gluten all.
You know, that would be like, wouldn't that be the fun? We just wouldn't tell them. No cross-contamination though, just separate buildings. We're good.
That's right. Cross the street.
I remember having a conversation with a bakery that is, ingredients are all clean, right? Gluten-free, dye-free, all of these things. And the whole concept was that you don't have to ask what your allergies are.
Yes.
That everybody gets to go into the restaurant and eat the same.
Yeah, I mean, we just strive to be very transparent in our ingredients. There's ingredient labels on everything, right down to our ice cream in the case. And it's hard when you go out with a group of people and you don't want to be that one that has to ask 99 questions. So we just have created this safe space that it's normal to do that. And I mean, we've had people cry over waffle cones. I never would have thought that, but full-grown adults that have eaten gluten their whole life, and then 2 years ago they were diagnosed with celiac, and they're like lost.
Yeah.
Or the mom with a small child that comes in and is like, my kid can't have all these things, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And so really that's
my youngest,
what
and
we've
you
created.
actually referenced exactly this. My youngest had a real dairy issue, and she could only eat the neon blue wherever we went. That was her option.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so for kids to walk in and see this case with a dozen flavors and they can pick any.
It's really nice.
So this panini is absolutely delicious. The ingredients are very very fresh, very well done, a good combination. And then in front of us here, we also have 4 little delightful cups of ice cream with also equally delightful purple spoons. But this is what you're describing as an ice cream flight.
So this is a sampler of 4 flavors. So you can always.
I'm going to reach some for you guys.
In our shop, you get 3 scoops in every size. So a small is 3 scoops. So you can still pick 3 flavors in 1 cup. But this is a sampler. It's a nice way to try some of our flavors. I've brought, this is chocolate cookie cake. You've got mint cookie dreams. Leprechaun Tracks is the other green one, because we're verging on that March St. Patrick's situation. So that's like peanut butter cups in green ice cream. And then the last one there is called Pot of Gold. It's a green apple and pineapple that we do.
That's such a good
idea.
So
we do a lot of seasonal. We do local as much as possible. I source as many of our apples from Johnston's orchard in the season and everything like that. So we just try to stay very community focused. I mean, we believe
we also have a
business is the backbone of your community.
You also brought us, and I'm not a caffeine drinker, so I'm staying away from the affogato.
Affogato, yep.
But the vanilla ice cream.
Yep, that's just a basic vanilla ice cream. Super simple. We use high-fat coconut milk. There's no fillers whatsoever, and it's literally coconut milk.
So good.
A little bit of arrowroot starch to thicken it, because a lot of people have corn allergies. So when you have dairy-free ice cream, it's full of corn starch to thicken it. And so we use arrowroot starch, a little bit of salt. It's sweetened with honey. So we don't even use artificial sugars or sweeteners
You would
at
never
all.
know.
No dye and any of that. That's green spirulina to make your ice cream green. It's possible. It just takes a little bit of time.
I will tell you that you usually, whenever, in my experience, and maybe it's gotten more sophisticated certainly, but whenever you taste something that is
like a specialty thing.
Yeah, you can taste the fact that it feels off or different or a doctor.
The texture is a lot of texture is so hard to get, and that's like I just told you the basic ingredients in this ice cream. Okay,
that mint is so good.
It's mint extract. I mean, it's pure mint extract. So a lot of times too, I tell people you can make ice cream at home that's very simple ingredients. I'm not going to lie, the commercial ingredients commercial equipment is what helps that consistency stay what it is. We invested in upfront in good equipment that would get this because we knew doing dairy-free ice cream was dangerous because that consistency can be off and then you've got like a grainy ice cream and it's not. It doesn't, it's
I'll
not
tell you
that
what you should do.
experience
You
that
should
you
go
want.
to Sylvan Studios today and make yourself your own trophy or ribbon and award it to yourself because this is fantastic.
I know, those
And it is-
participation ribbons.
Gretchen has a whole closet of them.
Or whatever.
Yeah, right. I will tell you though that I can't emphasize this enough. There is absolutely no way of knowing that this isn't what
It's
you
that
nutritionally
mouthfeel
have.
to it. That's true. I would compare it more like to a gelato because it's not such high fat that it's coating your. So true ice cream coats your tongue with that fat, and you're not even getting the flavors. So this, you're tasting the flavors. So
And you also brought a little salad sample, which I'm assuming is on your restaurant week menu.
Yeah,
It's a beet salad with
arugula and roasted beet salad. There,
delicious.
we house make the dressing. It's
salad, who cares?
Yeah.
I know.
Salad.
We
got
have
5
a little
cups
bit of balance. You know, it's all about balance. You got to balance your.
Yeah.
You know, it's still healthy. It's still clean ingredients.
Why did
still
you bring this
real
upon
ingredients.
yourself? You've got 58 kids that you're educating.
Oh, gosh.
and
You don't like sleep, apparently?
You know, we don't. We have been business owners for so long. I don't, you know, you look at it, I don't know what else we would do. We can't imagine going to corporate America. We felt like we needed to meet this need in our community. Downtown Sylvania is small but mighty. I mean, there's a few. Inside the 5 has opened up. G&G's has been a staple for
a millennia.
Plus, more than my entire life. It's where our heart is at. And so
how did you two meet?
Was another. Scott and I met in college at UT.
Yeah, okay.
So Sylvan Studio was in my family, and poor guy got roped into all this.
It.
Yeah,
and
he's got a web background. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Let's talk about restaurant week.
Yes,
so
yes,
I mean, as a new business to dive into something like this, I mean,
so this
you're not in a stage yet where you can care about other people, right? You need to be selfish at the start of any business.
Straight from Kevin's mouth.
But why have you chosen to support Leadership Toledo and do restaurant week?
First year participant.
Yes, we are a first year participant. I have a 2-year-old, so last year was a little iffy. The year before, you know, just timing doesn't. His birthday's March 5th, so it falls during restaurant week. So I didn't want to risk that.
It's a celebration.
I know, right? As he gets older, if we, you know, if this is still going, it'll be for him. But so we decided to participate. We just believe it's important to give back in our community. I feel like, you know, Leadership Toledo does an incredible job of marketing the restaurants too. So like it's really a win-win. It really is a win-win. We're newer, so it does help get our name in front of people. I can't tell you. I mean, there's people that live right in downtown Sylvania that still walk in our door and say, "How long have you been here? Where did you come from?" And
Can you tell me a little bit about downtown Sylvania? It seems to be a real nice community. They do the Redbird Art District shows.
Fridays,
There's all kinds of special events. They shut down the street a couple times during the year.
We just did a almost year-long construction project on our streets and stuff, but it's gorgeous. So downtown Sylvania, it is quiet, but it does have a lot of, I mean, J&G's has been there over 50 years, a lot of families that have really just poured into the community, and that's where their heart is. And I feel like you can feel that when you come there. It's a small town. Even when we redid the building, we were trying to keep in mind like the old feel of it, very industrial, you know, very down to the bones. Just preserving that. There are a small group of people that do really care about the city and community and preserving it. Right down to our we have our own historical village, which a lot of communities don't have. We have the Lathrop House, and we do have a lot of these things that I think people have realized we need to care about. I mean, parks, small parks and things like that. There's been some projects and stuff like that. Construction always shakes things up a little bit, but it's gorgeous. They did a good job with it. So it's very handicap accessible. You don't trip over the bricks on the sidewalk and that kind of stuff anymore. So it's a wonderful small community. There's we're trying to create some more outdoor spaces and stuff like that too. Haroon Park is right down the street. Gorgeous park to walk along the river and everything like that. My kids get in the river and play. You know, it really is that small town feel that I think a lot of families especially really do seek.
Yes.
We're talking to Erin Stampflmeier, the owner of Erin Ann's, and as we're learning also owner of award-winning, because they can make it themselves, Sylvan Studios. All right, Erin. It's time for Gretchen's Wacky Quiz.
I'm just
Matt
food down.
is just all focused
just keep eating,
on the ice cream. All right, rapid fire, here we go.
All right.
What's a song that makes you feel like dancing?
Oh my gosh. what is, you got the feeling from the trolls or I have kids.
Yeah,
Isn't that funny?
man, I know that one too. Yeah.
What's been the best purchase of your life?
Oh gosh, best purchase of our lives. We built a pool. Does that count?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take it.
That's core family memories for me.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change?
Oh gosh.
More gluten.
More gluten. One thing I would change about the world. These are hard questions. This is like deep. I think a safe space for our children, just like that.
Great answer.
That is ultimate to me.
If you started a club or a group, what would it be about?
Healthy eating.
Healthy eating, we'll take it.
Love it.
What's your number one most favorite, or what you consider to be the best thing about the city or the region?
This might not be the right answer, but I feel like it's home. Like this is just where our heart is.
That's a great answer.
Great.
All right, rapid fire. We've got like 30 seconds.
Nine words.
Here we go.
Let's do it together.
Words. All right. 9 words about Toledo. Community.
Community, love it.
Outdoor spaces.
Outdoor spaces we're taking for
4 seasons. Like 4 seasons. That's one thing
true.
that keeps us here. It's so crazy, but it does. 4 seasons. Community. I think leadership.
Leadership, great.
There's a lot of leaders in the city.
Yep.
Opportunity.
Opportunity, thank you.
Youth. I think our youth is, we employ a lot of them.
Last
and I do
one.
believe in them.
Last
one. Restaurant Week.
Restaurant Week. All right, good job.
Erin, it was so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on your business.
Thank you.
This sampling of food is absolutely
It really
delicious.
is.
Erin Ann's first-time participant in Restaurant Week,
We're
so
excited.
stop out next
We're
week and
excited.
check out Erin Ann's. More information on Erin Ann's is available at
ErinAnns.com. We have Instagram and Facebook that we promote stuff there too. So just add Erin Ann's on both
Love
those.
it. Thanks so much. When we come back, we'll wrap up this Wellness Wednesday edition of the 419.
You laughed with us. You learned with us.
Hi, neighbor.
We made sure your childhood was special. Memories that could only be provided by PBS. For generations, we've given you programs that made a difference. Programs that entertain, inform, and inspired. And today is no different. This is WGTE Public Media in Toledo. It's where you belong.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, Toledo Public Schools, and veteran journalist Jerry Anderson. The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Welcome back into the 419 as we wrap up our Wellness Wednesday presented by WorkSpring. Man, we need to become a food show.
I'll tell you what, though, it is start. This was an all-star cast, starting with Megan from WorkSpring. She's exceptional, and I had not met Rich.
Me neither.
And that was great too. So, but again, not to beat this to death is becoming. I probably overplayed, but this is what the show's about. These people are all awesome. I knew one of the 3 of them, and this is what living in a community like this is about.
Well, and you've got, look at what Erin has done in Sylvania.
Yes.
Of saying like there's a need in the community. Sylvania needs a downtown ice cream spot, and we can do it with clean, healthy ingredients. Let's sort of check both the boxes. So,
but to identify a need and then say I'm going to do it. I mean, that's
but it comes back to what Rich talked about
thing.
about size and access, right? Like Toledo's a place where you can do all of that. If you missed any part of the show, 3 opportunities for you to catch it. Of course, 7 a.m. on YouTube, 3 p.m. on FM 91, and 6 p.m. on WGTE Connects Channel 30.4. All of our past episodes are online at WGTE.org/the419. Huge thanks to Rich Jambor from Maddie and Bella, Erin Stampflmeier from Erin Ann's, and Megan Kasiri for WorkSpring. For joining us today, it's the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.